Hi, I'm Karen from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm going to show you why I'm a real woman of Philadelphia, the cream cheese, not the city. I'm going to make for you a side dish called creamy cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. Now, my husband and I went to a restaurant one time, and we had creamy cauliflower, and it was really yummy, and it's a great substitute for like mashed potatoes or something, so I decided I can make this at home. It's so easy. So what I've got is some cauliflower that I have chopped up. I've washed it real good. I've chopped it up. I've chopped it into like little pieces, and I've put it in some water, and I'm steaming it until it's nice and tender. Now I have my skillet here. I decided that the cauliflower would be really nice if it had some green in it, and my kids and I really like Brussels sprouts, and I know Brussels sprouts might scare some people. It's a very strong flavor, has a very strong smell, but they're actually very good if you cook them right. So I'm going to show you how to add a lot of nice flavor to it and mix it with the cauliflower to make an extra special side dish. First, I've got some bacon that I'm going to add to my hot cast iron skillet. Now I can do the Brussels sprouts while my cauliflower is steaming, and we'll do that pretty much so last. And then after we put it all together, we're going to bake it in the oven for just a few minutes. But I'm just going to saute this up. What I've done with my Brussels sprouts is I've chopped off the ends of them, and then I've quartered them. I find that they're a lot easier to eat, and they seem to taste a little better if they're not the huge, big chunk of Brussels sprout. And I've even let them fall apart a little bit as they're cooking, so that they're a little more leafy and not such a big, bold chunk. And I'm just going to saute this in the bacon for a few minutes until the bacon is done and crisp, and it's going to put a lot of that great bacon flavor into the Brussels sprout as well. Now my Brussels sprouts are nice and caramelized by the bacon, and they're a little more tender. The bacon is nice and cooked up, so I'm going to turn off the heat on that. Come check my cauliflower, which is nice and tender, so we can turn that off. Now I'm going to drain the cauliflower. Okay, I'm going to let my Brussels sprouts just continue cooking down for a minute while I mash up the cauliflower. And I actually found out that if I get my children to help me make dishes, they're more likely to eat it. So this is my little helper, Tiana. And while this is just sitting here and it's still hot, I'm going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese across the top. And it's about half a cup. Mashing up the cauliflower. Now while she's mashing, I'm going to go ahead and pour in about 4 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese that's been sitting at room temperature for a while, so it's nice and soft, and the heat of the cauliflower will continue to make it nice and soft, to cream up the cauliflower nicely. Okay, there you go. Just mash it down. Get it nice and creamy. Can you keep mashing? Smash that cauliflower. And while she's smashing the cauliflower, I'm going to add just a dash of dry ground mustard. And just a touch of some garlic powder. Just for a little bit more flavor. Now I could blend the cauliflower in a blender or a food processor just to get it real creamy, but I kind of like the coarseness of it, the texture of it, when it's still a little bit, it's just mashed real good, and there's still a little bit of texture. And it'll match nicely the texture of the Brussels sprouts. So I like to put things in the oven in these little individual baking dishes. So what I'm gonna do is put some cauliflower in my dish. And mix some of the Brussels sprouts, bacon, Parmesan cheese in with it. Just get a good big spoonful of it. Doesn't that look good? Kind of mix it up a little bit. Looks good, smells good. And I love the colors in this. The green just adds, the green color of the Brussels sprouts adds so much to the cauliflower. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I've got some breadcrumbs, some buttery breadcrumbs that I have crumbled up. I'm going to put a little bit of butter, melted butter in with them. I'm sure lots of home cooks have done this before to make a nice crispy topping to go on things that you put in the oven. It's about 15 crackers and about 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm just going to sprinkle that across the top. Not too heavy, but just enough to give it some crunch. Okay, this is going in the oven, preheated oven at 350. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm going to pull this out of the oven. Look at that. Nice and crispy on the top. Now to taste it. It looks yummy. You ready? Can you get a Brussels sprout? And some cauliflower and some of that yummy topping. That's good. And good for you. Yummy. This is why I'm gonna be one of the real women of Philadelphia. Hope you enjoy it.